Hello everybody and welcome to my Taiwan language channel. Why am I called the Taiwan language channel, or why do I call myself as such? That's just because I really like languages and I live in Taiwan, so it's just happenstance really. But I do really like to talk about the languages in Taiwan, specifically, uh, most notably Chinese and Taiwanese. So I hope in this channel I get a chance to talk about a lot of that. But yeah, I just like talking about language in general, so I kind of want to start off with a bunch of videos about Chinese characters. And so today I wanted to specifically look at some characters that are just very different in mainland China and Taiwan and Hong Kong and Macau, where they use traditional characters. So a little bit of background in case you don't know anything about that, but you can Google it yourself. In China, they use simplified script, which is an updated script. It's new, it's newer, it's the newest form of written Chinese. And then in Taiwan, they've maintained a more classical script that was established in dynastic China and is continuing to be used here and in Hong Kong and Macau, as I've mentioned. And in Japan, they kind of use a mix of both of them. They use some kanji that reflects traditional writing, or the traditional way of writing, and then some of it is updated like simplified Chinese. And I believe that Japan also had their own kind of simplification of Chinese going on independently. Well, and then they've got the kana scripts, which are like an adaptation or based on Chinese characters as well. Anyways, hopefully we get to talk about that too, because I'm pretty interested in that. But I'm much more knowledgeable about Chinese characters in China and Taiwan, and characters that are used for dialects of Chinese too. So let's take a look at these two characters and start from there. These two characters here are pronounced Lin in Mandarin. And you know, the top one is the original one. You can identify traditional Chinese very quickly just by, you know, looking at how many difficult strokes it has. And so this is called a radical here. Parts of a Chinese character are called radicals, and so it gives it meaning. And if you've got a handy-dandy app like Playco or any Chinese dictionary, not a plug here, not product placement, they're not paying me, but if you've got one, you can look up a character, you can, you know, click on characters, and when you look up a character, and you can kind of break it down into its parts and see what the radicals are. And so this little radical that I've highlighted up here is called Chen, and apparently that means like minister or statesman or official or something. So it's given it some semantic meaning, some semantic component. So this is actually used for like a respectful presence. It's a way to address somebody when they enter a story. The term is like 欢迎光临, and so Lin is a way to express a respect towards somebody's visit. So minister, statesman, it kind of connects to that. But on the bottom here, with the simplified character, a lot of that semantic meaning gets lost actually. And this radical I mistakenly thought was a knife radical, which kind of looks like this. I'll draw it like in the margins here. But it's got a little hook there, which denotes it as the knife radical. So this part is not really a knife radical. And I looked it up again in the same little dictionary, and it says that that radical is actually a representation of the number 1. If you look in a Kangxi radical dictionary, Kangxi was a famous guy, put together like a dictionary of 200 of the most used of the comprehensive list of Chinese radicals. It's known as guan, and to me that means like stick or something when I hear it in Mandarin, but apparently it's another way to write one. So these are just two ones written by each other. And then this part of the character right here, no idea what that's all about, if it has any meaning at all. I've never seen it. It's got like a, the end here, a little dash dot or whatever, and then a box with a vertical line through the top here. Don't know what it's about. Very interesting though. I see this a lot when I'm like visiting the stores here, you know, this top character, because you know that's the traditional one. And then the first part of that also has a different character. We can look at that, which is Huan from Huanying, which means welcome. And where's that? 7. There it is. Ding. And then the simplified version looks like this. And this is the same actually in like, oh, where'd it go? Sorry guys. And this is the same in like the character for to like something like Xi Huan. So it's also the same. And as you can see, the radicals are very different here. You know, this top one, how many strokes does that have? 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to do this whole thing. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not going to finish it more than 8. And then this bottom one here has 1, because you write that line, that stroke is just 1 stroke, and then 2. Super simple. You can see why that Mao Zedong decided to simplify everything, didn't you? I mean, one of the reasons anyways. Let's not get too political on this discussion. That's not the purpose of this channel. Anyways, cool. So there's that. Now, I want to take a look at a character that I've noticed that is completely different in China, in simplified script and traditional script. So I'll write the traditional one first, because I live in Taiwan. Keep things traditional, like to maintain the old school China. Alright, here it is. And that is yen, which means smoke and cigarettes. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. And then the simplified version of that is this one. And they're pronounced exactly the same. They're both yen. Alright, there's a saying in Chinese that like radicals determine the semantic component, the meaning, right? And then the side or the center is supposed to represent the phonetic representation of it. Well, I haven't figured all that out yet. I still don't understand how that works because that's not really true here. Like this radical on the traditional version is a grass radical, which is, it makes sense for cigarettes and for things that burn and create smoke. So yeah, so far understandable. But then the bottom part is like, I believe that's the same in Zhongyu. Let me look it up real quick. Zhongyu. Sorry, got my other script on. Zhongyu. Yeah, it is. I mean, here I'll get rid of these ones real quick so you can see. Bing. So yeah, that's the bottom part of that first one. Yeah, you can see it there. So yeah, that is you. It's not really yen, is it? I mean, it's got a Y in it, I guess, but yeah, I still don't understand it. I'm a linguistics lover, but I'm not a professional linguist, and I have not researched all this in detail, so please leave comments and correct me or enlighten me as to why this is so. I'll be happy to learn, but I'm just a guy who's interested, but I still haven't figured out the system yet. It won't make sense to me, you know, probably for a while. And then the bottom radical is totally different, and it's off to the side instead of on the top, right? And that is fire. That's the fire radical. Huo. And then the side to it that's supposed to give it the phonetic representation is in. So again, it's, I guess, a little bit closer to in, but not really. Yeah, it's really interesting. I see this all the time in Taiwan, and I love exploring it. I hope to make further videos about it. So hopefully you haven't found this too boring. Hopefully you find it interesting like I do, and please leave comments. Share with me any other differences you've noticed if you live in China or if you live in Taiwan. There are hundreds of topics we can go over: pronunciation, word preference, all of that. So stay tuned. See you soon.